Welcome, everyone, back to the weekly Priestess transmission. Priestess, rise up with me. I'm so glad you're here. I know I'm transmitting at a different time today because I have an appointment later on. So, whenever you're catching this, I'm delighted you're here. This is a time for us to gather and remember why we're here, to remember your truth, to remember your priestess path, to celebrate with each other, and to normalize a lot of the journey of priestess leadership. It's to normalize what it's like to really commit and devote yourself to channeling unconditional love to yourself, to the world. You know, those things, those spiritual things, when you're called to this path, it's so easy to feel like there's things you're going through that nobody else is going through, that there's fears that come up for you that don't come up for anyone else, that there's doubts and all the normal things that happen, right? And when we're alone and those things happen, we can really, our mind can really derail us and can make us feel like, oh, well, if I feel this way, it must mean that I'm not ready to be a leader. I'm not really here to change the world, or this has to happen, later, all sorts of things. So a big part of us gathering together is to make all of those things really explicit. And so I want to take a step back. And, if you're new to my work, I don't even know if I said this at the beginning. My name is Lisa Espinosa. And this transmission is based on my forthcoming book, Priestess Rise Up, or these transmissions, these weekly transmissions. And so for me, my priestess signature, because there are so many, right? There are so many and they're all needed. What chose me was this path of unconditional love, right? This path of remembering that we're here to open ourselves up to that divine birthright, right? To remember that we are loved unconditionally by our soul, by source, God, Goddess, the divine, whatever you want to call it. And as we remember that, as we heal the trauma that blocks us from remembering that, then we create this expansiveness and within us, so that unconditional love can overflow to the world. And I'm a spiritual career coach, so a lot of what I talk about is sharing this in through your career, but it goes beyond that, right? It's like, just when you walk through the world doing all the mundane things that you do, that we, not just you, that we all do, that we're still in those times blessing. We might not even be conscious of it, but because we're committed to the path, that's what's happening. So I love seeing that you are here. So if you want to share in the chat who you are, where you're joining us from, that would be lovely. So today specifically, we're going to talk about suffering. And hey, Destiny, the reason this came about, so as I've been writing my book, my new format of writing my book that I really received inner guidance from, was to, how do I say it? To try as much as possible to enjoy, hi Amy, to enjoy the process of finishing my book, which is a big ask. Because even though, of course, I'm delighted and I want it to be done, and I'm going to be, hey Summer, so good to see you. Oh, awesome. Wonderful. There's delight in creating a book and birthing it and all of that, but there's also a lot of times when there isn't, right? And so for me, what I've been doing in the morning when I get up, the first thing, it's like my laptop is there, I'm all cozy in my bed, and I have a beautiful orchid to look at, and I've been writing at that time before anything else, because that's just how it is right now. So anyway, 2 days ago, as I was meditating, I was connecting with my book and I was writing, kind of finishing off this chapter, and I just kind of was getting really flustered. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to meditate about my book. I'm going to sit here in front of my laptop, in front of this manuscript, and just be like, okay, God is divine. Talk to me. What do you want me to write in this book? And so I was meditating and I was hearing the guidance. And I typed it, right? I was like, okay, I'm going to type this paragraph that's coming through. And the first line was, the priestesses have suffered enough. And I was like, oh my gosh. Honestly, I wrote it like 5 lines, and it wasn't until after when I reread it that I was like, oh my gosh, yes, that was the first line. And I've really been with that, like, oh my gosh, yes. Hey, Diana. Hey, Maria. So good to connect with you again, Roxana. Glad you're here. And so that message really stopped me, like, whoa, priestesses have suffered enough. And that was the first line. And then the whole message was about how the reason I'm being guided to really finish my book, because I've been writing this book for a few years. It's been writing me, I've been writing it, I've been initiating through it, all of the stuff. But as I come to this final trimester, if you think of it as a pregnancy, with that line, the priestesses have suffered enough, the message continued to say, we've finished this book following the beauty way. This book cannot be birthed through suffering, because part of what it is here to liberate us from is the path of expanding and growing and healing through suffering. And so I've been really with that, like, oh my gosh. And so understanding that as we gather together, that message of that we've suffered enough, that we're here to birth a new paradigm of growing through ease, through self-love, right? Through unconditional love, through perhaps even joy. And that can seem like such an impossible thing, right? Because, so I hear that message and then there's all these things unfolding. It can even feel kind of selfish, like, well, aren't we supposed to suffer? Look at all the people that are suffering. As a priestess, shouldn't I be suffering along with them? That's what makes me a spiritual person. That's what makes me love people, and so on and so on. That is not true. Humanity has an addiction to suffering, right? We've been in this experiment of learning about our divinity through suffering, right? That's what the human experiment has been. And we've all experienced that. I have suffered a lot. I'm sure you have suffered a lot. There's no competition in suffering. Suffering is suffering, right? And I've been on a journey for years and years and years to heal that attachment, that belief, because I think when I started consciously my spiritual journey, I really believed that, well, you had to I don't know if I would have said it that way, but I believe, well, in order to grow spiritually, in order to remember your truth, it involves a lot of suffering. And there's a lot of spiritual teachings that kind of can validate that. And yet, as I kept going on my journey, it was like, wait a minute, is suffering really needed? And, in Buddhism, they talk about, there's a difference between pain and suffering. Like, pain is part of the human experience. We are here with an egoic structure, with an ego. We are here where there's a lot of things that happen that are terrible. And pain, sadness, loss. Hey, Zoe. So glad you're here. All of those are part of the human experience. But suffering, when does suffering happen? And this is what I started to learn as, through my journey of healing, my trauma, was that the suffering was caused a lot of percent of the time by my own judgment, right? By the judging of the pain, by the resisting of the pain, by the lack of, in moments when I felt alone or there was a lack of trust that I was loved by the divine, that I was being taken care of, even through times that seemed incredibly that were incredibly challenging. And so I started to tease that out, that, oh, when I heard that message this week of the priestess have suffered enough, it was like, yes, we explored suffering. We did, deeply. And part of that was because it was part of the human experience. Part of it is because we're going to lead others when they go through suffering, and we will be able to have, if we choose this path over and over and commit to it, that we will have so much compassion because we understand how it is. But yet we're also being guided to hold that vision and to practice and remind ourselves that suffering isn't necessary, right? That we can, even when painful things happen, we learn on this priestess path. That's why that quality of unconditional love, right? It's not even, quality doesn't even encompass it. That truth of unconditional love. Because what is God? God is unconditional love, right? And if the word God doesn't resonate, use whatever word, right? I've gone through such journeys with the word God, right? God is what I grew up with, and then I hated the word God. It was like, I was attached to so much religion. And then through all the healing, like, I can use God, but I can also use source, divinity, and other names. But what is our source? It's unconditionally loving. And so this path, this priestess path, is about us over and over and over and over and over and over coming back to our heart and coming back to that unconditional love. It is a discipline. It isn't just something that, some people are born with and others don't have it. No, it is a practice. And as I've been writing this book, because I'm really in the place of writing a lot of personal stories, I'm really understanding how my life has been a training with this, right? It has been this training of over and over and over and over and over coming back to my heart. And it's sometimes hard, So, I wanted to bring this topic of, like, because I was so touched, because I really felt it was like the divine speaking to me, when she's in her female voice, the priestesses have suffered enough. It was like a decree. And so when we step into our meditative space today, our ceremonial space, I feel like it's going to be a healing, because I'm not done with that attachment. So I'm not suggesting by any means that I'm done healing my relationship with suffering. I'm practicing, and I'm committed, and I'm devoted. And I can recognize that suffering is sometimes can even feel easier than letting myself feel all the feelings. Isn't that interesting? It's like, because I'm really aware right now that, like, I feel grief right now, and I feel it about all the suffering that I've experienced, and all the suffering that humanity experiences, and all the suffering that priestesses have experienced, right? There's grief about that. But that grief doesn't have to create suffering within me. It only creates it if I judge it. If I'm like, oh, no, I can't grieve. That's too much. Let me just, and sometimes we're not even conscious that we're doing that. That's what creates the suffering. It can even be comfortable to be in suffering, but instead to decide to be, as one of my teachers said, sober, to embrace sobriety of emotions, to allow ourselves to be like, I'm grieving, I'm sad, I'm going to be with that. Like, there's something really liberating about that. So grieving, sadness, all of those things don't need to create suffering. And when we allow ourselves a space that sober space, what we start to find, to feel the feelings, to not judge them, to release the suffering, we start to find, interestingly enough, well, one, that they don't kill us. Like, oh, wasn't pleasant, but it didn't kill me. Right now, I'm an adult. Now I can do this, right? And I'm not going to go into inner child parts that much right now, but I will, because sometimes we're feeling our inner child. She's the one, or he, or they, that is feeling like, it could be a trauma that's getting triggered, right? So our inner child feels totally overwhelmed. But that's why, again, we come back to our heart and we notice if that's happening to an inner child. But going back to recognizing, okay, these emotions I can be with them. I can let them move through my body. But then what's the other amazing thing is that we start to feel joy. That it's like, oh, when I start to release that addiction that we have to suffering, yes, I feel the feelings that I've been trying to avoid feeling for so long. But then I recognize that I can do that. I can literally do that, and that's okay. And then I start to notice, hey, there's a whole bunch of joy. I'm not talking about pleasure or happiness that's dependent on something external, but this innate joy that is our birthright, that is always there. And so this is the incredibly spiritually mature, maturity that is being asked of us on this path. That's why I've said over and over that this is a courageous path. This is a radical path. This is not a path for the faint of heart. This isn't, people can judge it like as whatever things. I'm not even, it's like I'm so far in this journey now that I'm not even going to spend that much time on how people can judge it. But the point is for you to know, oh, wait, this is like revolutionary. And so we're going to step into our meditation. I'm honestly not sure what ascended master is going to show up, but we're going to step into it. And I actually have Zoe. If you're still here, you'll see I have one of my Eru blankets. If you missed last week's transmission that I had with Zoe, actually, and she was sharing about her beautiful blankets, wool blankets made in Ireland. And I do have a special coupon code for that. Anyway, I'm wearing it because I just feel that. I feel like we're going to be doing some deep work, even in a short meditation, right? Because that's also what we're normalizing through these transmissions, right? We're normalizing that, oh, I don't need an hour to meditate. It's awesome. And Monday, I took a whole day to do a cleanse, and I made the decision to be like, I'm going to use this day to meditate. And so I had that time, but we don't always have the time. But we want to release the illusion, the trap that, oh, in order to do deep healing, everything needs to be perfect in my life, and I need to have like this amazing retreat or whatever. Those things are important, and they come into our lives when we need them. And you are a priestess. And what can a priestess do? She can enter ceremony. Quickly. And this isn't quickly from a place of multitasking, but it's from a place of summoning your power as a priestess. That what is part of the priestess journey is that you navigate these realms. You're here in the earth plane, and then you can enter that divine space. And so we're practicing this together. And I want you to really hear that you can do that you can enter that ceremonial space in an instant. The book, The Course in Miracles, calls it the holy instant. Didn't say the holy hour, the holy, 30 minutes. It's like the holy instant, in an instant. And so let's do that together. So I invite us all to close our eyes, or I might have my eyes open, but you can close your eyes. Or you can focus your eyes, your vision on something beautiful in front of you. Whatever helps you go inward. And so I welcome you to connect with the earth underneath you. And it's so beautiful that we have people from all over the world here. And I know that wherever you are, the earth, the energy of the earth is different. You know, here we had in Chicago, it was snowing earlier. I know somebody's joining from Florida. So just wherever you are, and Zoe's joining from Ireland, there's people from all over. Connect with the earth. And we're creating this beautiful tapestry of earth medicine. And of course, this includes all of you who are watching the recording. And so we welcome Mother Earth to support us in this ceremony. And then I invite you to connect with your heart. And if that's something that can be challenging for you, like if you're in your head a lot, go ahead and bring the palms of your hands over your heart center. That simple mudra, right, of bringing your hands to your heart can be really powerful. And so with your awareness in your heart, I just call upon that truth of unconditional love to surround each of you individually who are here live and who are watching the recording, and our whole collective group, so that our group is surrounded by unconditional love. And welcome all those beings of unconditional love. So here in this space, we're only welcoming those divine beings, those ascended masters, the angels who have no agenda, who are here in unconditional love. And so I'm welcoming beautiful, powerful Mother Mary. And I'm welcoming beautiful, powerful Isis. I'm welcoming powerful Kuan Yin. And they keep using the word power. So all these powerful allies, and beautiful Ascended Master Jesus, and beautiful Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, who came to me in a dream a few days ago. He is this beautiful being of compassion who has 1,000 arms. And that's how he showed up in my dream, with this 1,000 arms of compassion. So we welcome those beings of love, and any other that you want to welcome into your space that are rooted, anchored in unconditional love. And so in this space, connected to your heart, the most important master that we invite is the master within you, your own soul, your own higher self. So welcome that master within you, the master within you who is wise, who is not attached to suffering, who is eternally receiving from source, and who is absolutely devoted to your ascension journey. And so your higher self has no judgment for your journey, has the utmost respect. And yet what the divine reminded me of this week was, right, that the priestesses have suffered enough. That particular way of learning is complete. And yet we also understand that we have a lot of healing to do, connected to all those times when we have suffered. And so what I'm aware of right now is that we're going to enter this temple of your heart, And so I invite you to your heart, visualize your heart is radiating this beautiful light out in front of you. It's projecting out what exists within you. It's this beautiful crystalline temple. And as you look at this temple, you recognize that it is your heart's temple. And there's this soft, beautiful pink radiating from this temple. As you look at it, you feel such comfort, such safety, such tenderness, such love, and such power. So you recognize that all of it coexists together. And so you step into this temple, this beautiful crystalline temple. And sitting in front of you on a beautiful rose, I always want to say lotus, but it's always on a rose right now, sitting on this beautiful blossoming rose, like a white rose. There's a master sitting in lotus pose, right? Sitting in meditative pose, sitting there. And as you walk closer to this master, some of you might have already recognized that it's you, it's your higher self. It's that divine master within you. And so you stand there ready to receive from your own divinity. And you notice that your higher self, her heart, and of course your higher self has no gender, but I'm just going to use this pronoun for now. Her heart is radiating. There's this like rainbow light radiating from the heart of the master within you. And as you see this, your own heart starts to tremble and have movement. Perhaps you start to feel emotions. And your higher self is letting you know that there is a healing here for you. That she is wanting to transmit to your heart a healing of all past suffering. And you will receive today as much as you're ready to receive. And so as you stand in front of your higher self and her heart is radiating this rainbow prism, the flower petals of your heart center are opening up. And together, because that's what we do together as priestesses, I invite you, and this is always an invitation because you have free will, you are sovereign. If you're ready to receive a healing, to heal attachment, addiction, programming, conditioning that has kept us stuck in a loop of suffering, we welcome that healing now. And if you feel ready to say something like this, like I am ready to receive this healing more than I have ever received it before, say that. I am ready to receive more of this healing from my divine self, more than I've ever allowed myself to receive before. And so just receive. And I'm feeling Mother Mary standing behind each of us with her arms open wide. She doesn't want anything from you. She is just there as a divine mirror. She has your back. And so we keep saying that, I'm ready. Yes. As I've shared before, one of my teachers' mantra, yes, thank you, I accept, I receive. Yes, thank you, I accept, I receive. I receive more than I've ever allowed myself to receive. So I'm seeing as this happens, like you might sense things falling out, like kind of dark energy or mud, or just like whoosh, it's like getting flushed out. Again, Mother Mary's behind you. She's got your back. Ascended Master Mother Mary. This is when your higher self knows exactly what you're ready for. Right? So trust that. If you can trust that as you keep opening the heart, receiving this healing around suffering. And it starts to wind down. And your higher self starts to integrate this healing across all levels of your being, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, across all directions of time, across all dimensions of time. And we're going to stay in the temple for a few more moments. And if you were here last week and you received that blanket from Our Lady of Guadalupe or from beautiful Bridget, bring that blanket, right? That divine blanket over you. That's what I'm feeling. There's this, and if you weren't here, if you didn't do that activation, just in this moment, just see Mother Mary handing you a blanket, kind of like the one I have on. And you're standing there in your heart's temple or sitting. This blanket is just bringing this beautiful embrace. Ooh, as we integrate for a few breaths here. And starting to walk out of this crystal temple and step back into your body. Feel your feet connecting to the earth. Feel your whole body. Feel this blanket still helping your energy body to integrate. And we bring the palms of our hands together and we bow to each other and our own beautiful heart. And we close this ceremony with a namaste. Namaste, everyone. And so just take a few breaths. And if you have a journal with you and there's anything you want to write down, feel free to do that. And if there's anything you want to share to have witnessed here in the chat, feel free to do that as well. And if you want to share something in the comments, if you're watching the replay, or even if you're here live and you want to go back, putting comments on the video is really helpful. It helps people to find the video more easily. So if your heart guides you to do that, thank you. And so, I really feel that as we get closer to the year ending, there's these powerful transmissions that are coming through. It's like, I've been saying this over and over. It's like our soul is like, all right, we're in preparation mode for next year and for all the next years. And it's like nothing is being wasted. There's all this healing coming up and there's all this support. So I'm really grateful for that. So I want to pull a unicorn card. I was really guided to do the unicorns. Hey, Maisie. De nada. Because the unicorns really embody that energy. I mean, they do not suffer. The unicorns, the Pegasus, they embody that energy of divine joy, of purity and innocence and power. And so I was guided today to bring this deck. And so if you would like me, we're going to do the speed oracle card. I'm really not planning on doing this every time, but right now it's like, that's what it is. So I love, Destiny, what you're writing. I'm more ready than I have ever been to heal this pain. Beautiful. Yes. That's a really powerful prayer. That prayer of like, I'm willing to receive more than I've ever been able to receive before or allowed myself to receive before. Think about how powerful that is if we always say that. Like, okay, I'm going to receive more grace, more love, more healing than I've ever received before. And then the next time you say it again. I want to remind you, the Mother Mary Planetary Healing class is happening on November 30th after Thanksgiving. I will not be here next week. I will be traveling to North Carolina. We will be doing some awesomeness there. So there will not be a Priestess transmission next week. There will be one the following week. But the Planetary Healing class on November 30th, so powerful. I think it's $33. Sign up if you haven't signed up, because Mother Mary, oh my gosh, she is really teaching us, upgrading our skill set so we can really help our planet, help you, your body, upgrade so it can hold more light so that you can bless this planet more than you've ever been able to bless it before. The Sophia Circle journeys are starting January 12th, and the theme is remember and reveal your true self in 2023. Isn't that powerful? I'm like super excited about that. So if you want to join us, you can go to my website. I'll put it all in the links in the comments. There's a free 20 to 30 minute exploratory call to discuss via Zoom. And it's just a powerful, powerful journey. Like I'm not going to go into it too much, but it's like you can read all the details in the link if you want to join us. So far, the women that have been drawn to it have been just, I mean, it's such a pure container that it is absolutely embedded with the highest level of healing. So if you're ready to remember and reveal, right, remember and reveal yourself for your own healing and the healing of the world, then that Sophia Circle journey might be for you. Okay, so yes is the best prayer. Perfect. Destiny. All right, here we go. Just gonna be fast. Destiny unicorn. Number 1, your personal unicorn. Bathe in pure love. Stay open to unicorn magic. All right. And Zoe, I think you're saying yes to a card when you said yes to the unicorns. So I want to pull a card for you. And if anybody else wants one, just put yes in the chat and I will know. All right, what is the message? Zoe, pool of Christ's light. Open your heart. Spread unconditional love. I mean, like we were just talking about that. There we go. Beautiful. Maria. Okay. Oh my gosh, same card. Pool of Christ light, Maria. Open your heart. Spread unconditional love. Summer. I'm freaking out. It came back again. Like, okay, this is for all of us. But Summer, pool of Christ light. Open your heart. Spread unconditional love. I mean, come on. Clearly, we all need to pay attention to that message. I mean, that is the message of the priestesses, right? And let me see who else. Amy's saying, yes, Amy, I so agree. The priestesses have suffered enough. Absolutely. Amy, here we go. Amy, shower of blessings. Open yourself to receive. Pay it forward. Beautiful. Roxana. Roxana, Wow, I've never seen this one. Okay. Magical crystal cave. Switch on your inner light. Bring forward your gifts. This. Let's see. Maisie. Yes. Okay, Maisie. 35. Divine potential. Fulfill your destiny. Be all you can be. So I want to just check if there's anyone I missed. I think that was it. And you know what? I'm being guided to pull one for all of you watching the replay, even though honestly, all the cards that we pull here, that all that means is that it's resonating for all of us. But let's see. Everyone watching the replay, I'm just going to pull one. Here we go. The replay card. Number 44. It says, I am presence. Expand your stellar gateway. I am that I am. And you know what? I really feel this is for all of us too. Look at this gorgeous card. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Receive. Remember, you're going to be integrating this healing. Drink water, ground, go and be the love priestesses that you are. Reminding yourself that we've suffered enough. That's not how we're going to heal the planet, through suffering. That is not. Oh, Diane, I missed you. Okay. I didn't see it. So here we go. I'm glad I saw that. Diane, here we go, Diane. Oh my gosh, Diane. Look what's back. I am presence. Number 44, expand your stellar gateway. I am that I am. All right. All right, lovelies. Have a great rest of your day. Namaste. Blessings. And I will see you not next week, but the week after. And you can always follow me on Instagram because I'm sure I'll be sharing lots of stuff there. All right. Bye, everyone.